Crazy how the NBA works, isn't it? Zach Edey's been dominating the NCAA for 2 seasons like very few players have done in the last few decades. In fact, this season he's led the Purdue Boilermakers to a record of 34 wins and 5 losses, thanks to his averages of 25 points and 12 rebounds per game. A performance that should undoubtedly lead him to a good position in the 2024 draft, which has also been rated as a weak class by many scouts, right? Well, the reality seems different. Currently, the massive 7'4" center finds himself in the second round of most mock drafts, and people don't seem to have much faith that he'll be able to translate his skills to the NBA. Something really unthinkable in a player that's been so dominant in such a high-level competition as the Big Ten Conference in Division I. Now then, what are Edey's chances of succeeding in the NBA? And how can he help Canada establish its dominance worldwide? It's hard to think that a player can be more successful in college in just 2 seasons than Zach Edey's been in 2023 and 2024. While it's true he did just miss winning the NCAA championship, but that's practically a utopia for any college player because of the number of teams that aspire to do so. However, his resume includes practically any accolade that exists at the individual level. Twice National College Player of the Year, 2 times consensus first-team All-American, 2 times the Big Ten Player of the Year, once the Big Ten Tournament MVP, once the Big Ten Male Athlete of the Year, and once the NCAA season scoring leader. In addition, this season he's had one of the best NCAA tournaments anyone's ever seen, with averages of 29.3 points, 12.8 rebounds, 2.3 assists, and 2 blocks per game. Edey's been truly unstoppable for any other college. Not only that, but in none of the 8 games he played in the NCAA tournament did he ever shoot under 60% from the field. The games against Tennessee in the Elite 8, where he had 40 points and 16 rebounds, and against UConn in the final, where he had 37 points and 10 rebounds and a loss, have shown that in the most important moments, Zach's been able to take the reins of the team. So how is it possible? How can it be that such a dominant prospect has been able to lead his team to the NCAA tournament final and isn't speculated to be drafted in the first round of a weak draft? Well, this has a lot to do with the evolution of the game. It's true that big players are coming back into fashion, with prospects like Victor Wembanyama or Chet Holmgren seeming to predict the evolution of basketball. The NBA is a league where size is increasingly important. Taller players tend to be more efficient. In the age of pace and space, lob threats pose a lethal threat to many franchises that have made it to the latter stages of the NBA playoffs. However, what sets Edey apart from these new generation centers is his mobility, or better yet, his lack of it. The playoff series between the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves proved it. Rudy Gobert, recently crowned with his 4th Defensive Player of the Year award, was unable to stay on the court in important moments of the game because of his inability to defend a pick and roll. And well, being able to switch on defense is one of the most necessary attributes in the modern NBA. Players like Wemby and Chet don't have too many problems if they're matched up with a wing or even a guard. Logically, they don't have the advantage against the best perimeter players in the league, but they don't instantly become a defensive liability. Edey, according to NCAA measurements, is a 7'4" center weighing 300 pounds. This greatly complicates his ability to defend on the perimeter, making him an instant target for quicker offensive players. And this is basically the reason why there are many people who don't believe that he has the ability to succeed in the NBA. This is a vital aspect. If Edey doesn't become a relatively mobile center in a short period of time, his career could be much shorter than we think. But the truth is that there are reasons to think that he can make it. I mean, the man didn't start playing basketball until he was in the 10th grade. Some kids had already been playing basketball for almost 10 years. Zach was picking up a ball for the first time. After being born in Toronto in 2002, Edey started playing ice hockey and baseball. However, there was a problem. He was too big. Julia Edey, his mother, was 6'3" and a former basketball player herself. So it was the past that got Zach started in the sport. His short high school career meant he was only recognized as a 3-star prospect, which nevertheless convinced Purdue scouts. There, he soon became an impact bench player who was gaining importance in the rotation. As a sophomore, he already became an undisputed starter, but his junior and senior season surpassed all kinds of expectations, adding improvements in his game during each offseason. You see what I'm getting at? The man started playing basketball at the age of 16, and in just 6 years, he accomplished what virtually no prospect's ever been able to do. If one thing's clear, it's that Zach has 2 things that make him special. The first is his enormous work ethic that's allowed him to learn in months what other prospects have taken years to internalize. And the second is his gift. because no one would be able to have such a progression without it. He's not the most skilled player in the world, that's for sure, but he can be considered skilled for his size. Edey's got good footwork, a good touch near the rim, and of course is one of the biggest threats in the offensive glass. Attributes that are still highly valued in the modern NBA. Plus, of course, that size, which makes him a great rim protector. These are the aspects that give him value as a potential player in the best league in the world. On the other hand, Zach's gonna have to put in a lot of physical work to be able to adequately translate his game. Players like Boban Marjanovic were capable of producing absurd stats in small minutes, but then destabilize the defense with their inability to defend on the perimeter. He's probably going to need to lose a little bit of weight in order to have a long career in the league. He's also going to have to work on his basketball IQ, especially on defense, to be able to anticipate opponents' actions and not get out of position. Still, his lack of speed can be compensated for by his ability to position himself and react on defense. If he can do that, Edey should have no problem finding his place in the rotation of certain types of teams. In addition, his experience as a leader and as a winner make his mentality one of the most valuable in the entire draft class. Beyond the NBA, Edey has an equally important mission. Last summer, the center was selected by Jordi Fernandez to be part of the roster for the World Cup in the Philippines, Japan, and Indonesia. In the stacked roster that Canada took to the World Cup, there was room for this Purdue player who would still be playing in college one more season. Logically, his role was reduced, being a player who had no experience in professional basketball. But in the one game he did get minutes, he impressed everyone. In the win against Lebanon, Edey had 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists on 6 of 6 shooting from the field in just 16 minutes. For some reason, FIBA basketball seems to benefit him. And this is of great importance for a country that needs it. When we analyze Canada's roster, we realize something. Their perimeter both on offense and defense is unreal. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jamal Murray, RJ Barrett, Dylan Brooks, Lou Dort, Andrew Wiggins, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Not only do they have some of the best international players in the world, but they also have some fearsome depth. But on the inside, they seem to have less potential. I mean, Kelly Olynyk, Dwight Powell, Chris Boucher, or Brandon Clark are big men that would be the dream of almost any country's national team, but not of a team that aspires to compete with the United States as they showed in the last World Cup. Zach Edey's one of the brightest prospects that Canada's found in recent years. And the best thing is that, as we've said, it could work very well in FIBA basketball. Only time will tell what Zach Edey's fate will be. Maybe he'll become a very good NBA player, even capable of being a starter in some circumstances. Maybe he can end up playing overseas, where some players of his size have become legends, like Walter Tavares in Real Madrid or Jabari Parker, who's trying to extend his career in Barcelona. Maybe he can even elevate Canada to the status of the best national team in the world during his career. Or maybe he won't. But what is clear is that, as of today, Edey has a chance to become the best center in Canadian history.